What if everything you believe about reality is just a carefully constructed illusion? What if the world you see, touch, and move through every single day is not the truth, but only a shadow of something deeper, stranger, and far more mysterious than you ever imagined? The idea sounds unsettling, maybe even impossible, but across history, from ancient philosophy to cutting-edge science, one message keeps echoing. Reality is not what it seems. The human brain is the greatest illusionist ever known. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, it creates a seamless experience of the world around you. But here's the shocking truth. You do not see the world as it is. You see a filtered version, a story your mind weaves from fragments of sensory input. Light enters your eyes, sound waves vibrate your eardrums, and your brain takes these electrical signals and paints an image, builds a soundscape, creates meaning. You are not experiencing reality directly. You are experiencing a mental simulation of it. Think of a rainbow, a stunning arc of color that has inspired myth and poetry for centuries. Yet in truth, a rainbow does not actually exist out there in the sky. It is a trick of light and perception, a projection created by the interaction between sunlight, water droplets, and your position as the observer. Move and the rainbow moves with you. No two people see the same rainbow. It is real, but not real in the way you think. It is a perfect metaphor for the nature of reality itself, an illusion that feels undeniable, yet depends on perception. Philosophers have wrestled with this for thousands of years. Plato described humanity as prisoners chained inside a cave, watching shadows on the wall, and mistaking them for reality. In his allegory, true reality lay outside the cave, in a world of pure forms we could only glimpse through awakening. Centuries later, Buddhist teachings declare that life itself is Maya, illusion, not meaning that nothing exists, but that what we perceive is a distorted version, a veil hiding ultimate truth. Fast forward to today, and science is beginning to echo the same whispers. Neuroscientists tell us that perception is a construction, not a mirror. Cognitive psychologists reveal that memory itself is unreliable, more a reconstruction than a recording. And physicists push even further. Quantum theory suggests that the solid world of matter may not be solid at all, but waves of probability collapsing into form only when observed. The very act of observation shapes reality. How can that be? How can the universe depend on our awareness to take form? The deeper we go, the stranger it becomes. Time, the one thing we trust most, may itself be an illusion. Einstein showed that time bends and warps depending on speed and gravity. At the level of quantum physics, particles can exist in multiple states at once, defying the very notion of linear time. If what we call the present moment is only a slice of something larger, then past, present, and future might coexist in ways beyond human comprehension. The clock ticks, but does it measure truth, or just the rhythm of the illusion we inhabit? And then there is the self. You think of yourself as a single solid I, a consciousness moving through life. But neuroscience points to a more unsettling reality. The self is a narrative, a constantly updated story told by the brain. Split brain experiments show that one hemisphere of the brain can act independently of the other, yet both still claim to be you. Which one is real? Which one is the self? The answer may be that the self itself is another illusion, a useful fiction to hold the pieces together. If the world, time, and even the self are illusions, then what is left? Is there a deeper truth behind the veil, or is illusion all there is? This is where mystics and scientists begin to meet. Both suggest that reality as we know it is not ultimate. It is a layer, a construct, a simulation of sorts. Whether that simulation is biological, as in the brain's filtering of sensory data, or technological, as in the simulation hypothesis proposed by thinkers like Nick Bostrom, the message is the same. The reality you cling to is fragile, deceptive, and incomplete. But here's the twist. Just because something is an illusion doesn't mean it's meaningless. A painting is not the thing it depicts, but that doesn't rob it of beauty. A dream may not be real in a physical sense, but it can change your emotions, your choices, even the course of your life. Illusion does not mean emptiness. Illusion can hold power, purpose, and truth of its own kind. So the real question isn't whether reality is an illusion. The question is, what is the illusion trying to tell us? What lies beyond the curtain, waiting to be seen when we dare to look deeper? The answers may not just change how you see the world, they may change who you believe yourself to be. If reality is an illusion, then why does it feel so convincing? Why do we trust our senses, our memories, our very experience, as if they were windows into truth? The answer lies in survival. Your brain was not designed to show you reality. It was designed to keep you alive. Evolution shaped your perception not for accuracy, but for usefulness. You don't see the world as it truly is. You see a simplified interface like the icons on your computer screen. Think about it. When you drag a file into the trash can on your laptop, nothing resembling a tiny trash can exists inside the circuits. The icon is not reality. It is a symbol that makes the system usable. In the same way, colors, shapes, and sounds are icons created by the brain, a user interface for survival. They hide the overwhelming complexity of reality, so you can focus on what matters: food, danger, shelter, connection. You are living inside a biological interface, not reality itself. This isn't just theory. Neuroscientists have proven how easily perception can be fooled. Optical illusions trick your brain into seeing motion where none exists. Auditory illusions make you hear words that aren't there. Even taste can be manipulated. Coloring a drink red makes it seem sweeter, even if the ingredients are unchanged. Your senses are not recording devices. They are interpreters, storytellers, and sometimes deceivers. But illusions are not mistakes. They are the price of efficiency. If you had to process the universe exactly as it is, down to every particle and wave, your mind would collapse under the weight of infinite data. Instead, you live in a compressed, symbolic version. It feels solid because it needs to feel solid, but beneath that solidity lies something stranger than imagination. Consider the table in front of you. It seems firm, reliable, unmoving. Yet physics tells us it is mostly empty space. Atoms separated by vast gaps, particles vibrating in constant motion. What you feel as solid is just electromagnetic forces pushing back against your hand. The table is real, but not in the way you think. It is an illusion of solidity, a trick played by forces too small for the eye to see. This is where ancient wisdom and modern science intersect. Hindu philosophy described the world as Maya, a cosmic illusion woven by divine energy. Buddhism taught that clinging to appearances leads to suffering, because appearances are not the whole truth. And now physicists describe reality as a quantum field of probabilities, where particles exist in multiple states until observed, collapsing into form only when measured. Thousands of years apart, but pointing toward the same unsettling conclusion: the reality you experience is a veil. The most radical idea of all is the simulation hypothesis, the possibility that the entire universe is a kind of program, a simulation running on some unimaginable intelligence's computer. At first it sounds like science fiction, but respected thinkers argue that it may be more likely than not. The reasoning is simple. If a civilization becomes advanced enough to create realistic simulations of reality, and if countless such simulations exist, then statistically, it's far more probable that we are in one of those simulations than in the one base reality. If that is true, then everything, your memories, your body, your very sense of self, is code. But whether or not we are in a simulation, the experience is the same. What we perceive as reality is not ultimate reality, and yet we cannot escape it. Just as the prisoners in Plato's cave cannot step outside without struggle, we live inside our perceptions, bound by the limits of our senses and our cognition. The illusion is not a cage, it is the very stage on which we live. Here's the strange beauty of it. Illusions are not meaningless. A dream can feel real enough to make your heart race. A story can bring you to tears even though you know it's fiction. A rainbow can inspire wonder, though it has no solid existence. Illusion shapes meaning, and meaning shapes lives. The fact that reality is not ultimate does not strip it of value. It invites us to look deeper, to question, to awaken. Think about how much power illusions already hold over your life. Money is paper and numbers, yet entire civilizations revolve around it. Nations are lines on a map, agreed upon illusions that govern the fates of millions. Even your identity, your name, your role, your story is partly an illusion, a construct built from memory and belief. And still, these illusions shape wars, inspire love, drive ambition, and create civilizations. So maybe the question is not whether reality is an illusion. Maybe the question is, what kind of illusion are we creating? If everything is filtered, constructed, and perceived, then reality is a canvas, and the way we see it, the way we believe in it, becomes the brushstroke that paints our world. The illusion of reality is not a trap. It is an invitation. An invitation to stop mistaking the surface for the depth, the shadow for the light. An invitation to peer behind the curtain, to ask, what lies beyond the images my mind creates? Is there a truer reality waiting to be discovered, or is the search itself the point? If reality is an illusion, then what lies behind it? Some thinkers argue that beyond the veil of perception is a deeper, more fundamental truth, something not bound by space, time, or matter as we know them. Mystics call it pure consciousness. Physicists call it the quantum field. Philosophers call it the ultimate reality. The names differ, but the intuition is the same. What we experience is only the surface, and beneath it lies the ocean. Take dreams as an example. When you are dreaming, the dream feels completely real. The people, the places, the events, they grip you as though they were solid truth. Only when you wake up do you realize it was all constructed. Now imagine this. What if waking life itself is just another layer of dream and there is a greater awakening beyond it? Many spiritual traditions describe enlightenment as exactly this: waking up from the illusion of ordinary reality. Even science flirts with the idea of hidden layers. In quantum mechanics, particles behave differently when observed, suggesting that observation itself plays a role in creating reality. This has led some to speculate that consciousness is not a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental ingredient of the universe. If that is true, then what we call reality is less like a machine and more like a dream, woven from consciousness itself. But here's where it gets fascinating. Even if reality is an illusion, it is an incredibly convincing one. And its purpose may not be to trick us, but to guide us. Think of a video game. When you enter a game, you know the world inside isn't real in the same way the outside world is. Yet within the game, the rules matter. The challenges shape you and the journey transforms you. Maybe life is similar. Maybe this illusion we call reality is not designed to imprison us, but to teach us, to grow us, to challenge us to discover what lies beyond. This perspective turns the illusion into a tool. The struggles you face, the obstacles that feel immovable, the joys and heartbreaks, all are part of the illusion. They feel real because they must feel real in order to move you. If you knew they were illusory, they would lose their power. But by experiencing them as real, you learn lessons that could not be taught otherwise. The illusion becomes the stage for transformation. The ancients hinted at this in their myths. In Hindu cosmology, the universe is described as the divine play, or Lila, a cosmic drama performed for the purpose of experience and awakening. In this view, life is not about escaping illusion, but about participating fully in it, until you recognize the divine hand behind the curtain. In Buddhist thought, recognizing illusion does not lead to despair, but to liberation, the freedom to see clearly without clinging to appearances. And yet, there is danger in illusion too. Because it feels so real, we become attached. We chase after shadows, mistaking them for solid truth. We suffer when illusions shift, when the things we cling to dissolve. A relationship ends, a fortune disappears, a body ages, and we feel as if the ground has been pulled out from beneath us. But the ground was never solid to begin with. That is the hardest truth to accept, and the most liberating one to realize. Consider the illusion of control. We believe we are in control of our lives, steering events according to our will. But how often does life remind us otherwise? Accidents, chance meetings, sudden changes, all remind us that we are not the sole authors of our story. Control too is an illusion, but one that gives us the courage to act, to strive, to dream. When we see through it, we can act without fear, knowing that uncertainty is not failure, but simply part of the illusion's design. Another powerful illusion is separation, the sense that you are a self, cut off from the rest of the universe. In truth, you are connected to everything. The air you breathe was once in someone else's lungs. The food you eat is sunlight transformed by plants. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of ancient stars. The illusion of separation makes you feel alone, but the reality beneath it is oneness. To awaken from this illusion is to see yourself as part of the infinite whole. So what does it mean to live within the illusion? It means embracing it without being enslaved by it. To play the game while remembering it is a game. To feel the emotions, to walk through the struggles, but to hold deep within you the knowledge that there is more beyond what you see. It is not about rejecting the illusion, but about dancing with it, learning from it, and allowing it to point you toward the truth. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest purpose of illusion is to remind us to seek meaning, to seek truth, to seek what lies beyond appearances, because in that search, in that longing to know, we awaken. The illusion becomes the path, and awakening becomes the destination. When you begin to see reality as an illusion, life itself takes on a different texture. Suddenly the ordinary is infused with mystery. The walls you thought were solid reveal themselves as doorways. The limits you believed in begin to dissolve. The world becomes less of a prison and more of a puzzle, one designed to awaken your curiosity and expand your consciousness. But how do you live with this awareness? How do you balance the demands of the everyday illusion with the deeper truth that whispers beneath it? The answer is not to abandon the illusion, but to see through it. To hold both truths at once. The reality you experience is an illusion, and within the illusion lies meaning. Think of a theater play. The actors know they are performing, the audience knows it is fiction, and yet the emotions are real. You laugh, you cry, you feel the drama deeply, even as you understand it is staged. Life is similar. You can engage fully, feel the emotions, experience the journey while still remembering. This is the play of reality, not its final truth. This perspective changes how you deal with suffering. Pain becomes less of a punishment and more of a teacher. Failure becomes less of a verdict and more of a challenge. Loss becomes not the end, but a transition in the unfolding story. When you see reality as illusion, you gain a kind of freedom. Not freedom from experience, but freedom within experience. Science itself may be leading us toward this realization. Quantum entanglement shows us that particles separated by vast distances still respond to each other instantly, as though space itself were an illusion. The holographic principle suggests that the entire universe may be like a hologram, with three-dimensional reality emerging from two-dimensional information on the edge of space-time. These are not mystical speculations, but serious theories from some of the greatest scientific minds alive today. They suggest that the universe may be far more dreamlike, more illusory than we ever imagined. And yet the illusion has power. It allows us to grow. It gives us a stage on which to explore love, fear, courage, and creativity. Without illusion, there is no story, no movement, no growth. If ultimate reality is pure consciousness, then perhaps this illusion of space, time, and matter is consciousness's way of experiencing itself. A cosmic game of hide and seek, where the one hides in the illusion of the many, only to rediscover itself again and again. This is why awakening is not about rejecting life, but about embracing it more deeply. To awaken is not to float away from reality, but to see it for what it is, a dream within a dream, beautiful because it is fleeting, meaningful because it is fragile. When you stop clinging to illusions as ultimate truth, you can finally enjoy them for what they are, expressions of something greater. So where does this leave you? Right here, in the heart of the illusion, the chair you sit on, the air you breathe, the thoughts you think, all part of the grand play. But now you know the secret. You know that what you see is not the whole story. You can look at the rainbow and marvel, even as you know it is light and water and perception. You can face suffering with courage, even as you know it is part of the dream. You can love more deeply, even as you know the selves you love are temporary illusions, fleeting reflections of the infinite. And maybe that is the greatest gift of all, that the illusion is not meaningless, but meaningful precisely because it is not eternal. Like a sand mandala created by monks, reality is beautiful because it is fragile. Like a dream, it teaches you to awaken. Like a play, it calls you to act your role with passion, while remembering that you are more than the character you play. The illusion of reality is not something to fear. It is a mystery to be lived, a secret to be uncovered, a story to be told. When you recognize it, you don't lose reality, you gain depth. You begin to live with wonder, knowing that behind every shadow is light, behind every illusion is truth, and behind every fleeting moment is eternity waiting to be discovered. So tonight, when you look up at the stars, ask yourself, are they balls of burning gas billions of miles away, or symbols in a grand dream designed to awaken you? Perhaps they are both. Perhaps the illusion of reality is not hiding the truth at all, but pointing you toward it. And perhaps the real illusion is believing that what you see is all there is.